Hey friends, it is that time of year. It is the end of 2023. We are about to go into the new year, 2024, and I wanted to share with you a few of my favorites from 2023. Anyway, let's jump in. I've got, I think, 4 categories of items or 5 categories of items. And why don't we start with hair care? And these are things that I discovered in 2023. They weren't necessarily released in 2023, but discovered them in 2023 and really fell in love with these products, and I would highly recommend each one of them if you're in the market for something similar. So the first is it's an interesting and odd one. It is the Pattern Pick Brush Edges Comb and Brush. I'm not sure what the exact name of this product is, but I think it is the brand is Pattern, and they sell it at Sephora, and I'm never going to get this thing to focus. There we go. And it's made for, I guess, like smoothing out, combing down your edges. I have found that this little tool has been so helpful in so many ways when I'm doing my hair. So of course it's good. Like, I wear my hair in a bun frequently, especially for work purposes, or when I go to work. It's sometimes just the easiest way to get a professional look. It's just to do kind of a slick bun. And sometimes it really does help with smoothing the edges and kind of getting the bun in there nice and smooth. I have found this little pick I use for parting, for making smaller sections when I'm straightening my hair, all kinds of things. So this little guy wasn't very expensive. Found it at Sephora, bought it on the sale just in case I might like it, and it's turned out that I've used it a lot and would highly recommend if you need something like that. Next thing is actually another brush, so let me just get that out of the way, or I'll go with that one next one. And this is the Sephora Collection Wet Brush, or Brush for Wet Hair. It's called Wet Brush Luxe, I believe, and from Sephora. Okay, so this is brand new, so you'd think, how do I know if I like it if I haven't used it? This is the 4th one of these that I bought. So I brought one of them and I use it every single day. And then my daughter would use it so frequently that I went and got her one to leave in her bathroom. And then I brought one for my gym bag. And then I brought one for when I travel. And then on the Sephora sale, because all the Sephora products were 30% off, I think I brought like an extra one. And this is an extra one. I love this brush. Let me take it out of the packaging so you can see it. It's such a surprise. It is not expensive. You wouldn't think anything of it. Possibly there's just not much to it, it would seem. But here's why I love it. Number one, you can use it on super wet, tangled hair. It doesn't damage my hair. It gets all the knots out. Same with my daughter, whose hair gets really tangled easily. And I can take care of that. No crying, no fuss. Love it. Also, it dries quickly because it's basically all plastic. I assume it's all plastic, and with all these holes in it. So when you're brushing, I have a few like boar bristle brushes and some other paddle brushes that have like the foam stuff, that sort of cushiony stuff on the inside. The problem with those is whenever I brush my hair when it's wet, or when my hair's not wet and my daughter gets out of the shower and uses my brush to brush her hair, then the brush is wet and that foamy bit on the inside stays wet for a while. So I have to leave it out and let it dry before I put it in my hair, because I don't want to brush dry hair with a wet brush, and that gets annoying. This, beautiful. I also use it for blow drying my hair because the air circulates easily. Again, it's just easy to detangle. It's not the same as like a round brush, or if you need, tension or whatever to do your style. But it's great for otherwise blow drying your hair and getting through tangles and things without damage. And finally, it's basically like a wide tooth comb. So anything that you would use a wide tooth comb for, or maybe even your fingers a little bit, it's not as loose as your fingers. So like if I curl my hair and I just want to pick the curls out, I'll use my fingers. But anything that I would use a wide tooth comb for, like I don't want to comb it out too much, I want to smooth it but not flatten it, all those things, I would use this. Highly recommend Sephora Collection. They probably sell fancier versions of this elsewhere, but I've bought 4 or 5 or 6 of these, keep one all over the place, and great hit. The next item for hair is this Olex Bond Maintenance Clarifying Shampoo. So I've used the Olex line. I've used the smoothing line. I don't know exactly what it's called. I'll look it up. But the kind of the smoothing line that is almost like a treatment, like the series, the number 6, the number 2, whatever. I guess this is number 4. And I've used that before. I have some shampoo and conditioner. That's actually really good. That line is really good for travel because, I mean, you can't take them on the plane. They're too big for that. But unless you buy a travel size. But the bottles are small, so if you're checking a bag and you want a shampoo, conditioner, etc. to go, those are really good for that. They're not like the huge tubs. But anyway, this I discovered this year, and I like to maybe once a week or twice a month use a clarifying shampoo on my hair because I use oils, because I sometimes use gel, because I use product, because sometimes I use hairspray. It builds up. And when I want to wash my hair, straighten it, and then not wash it again for a while, I know I'm going to be putting a lot of product on it in the meantime. And so I want as clean of a slate as possible without stripping my hair. I need something that's safe to use on hair that's been treated with color. I dye my hair sometimes or have, and I need something that's not going to over dry out my hair because my hair can tend to get very dry, very frizzy, and I'm going to need to use product to keep it moisturized. So this I will use just a bit. I'll wash it. I actually will sometimes use this first, wash it, lather it up, leave it for like a minute, rinse it out, and then I'll go in with a moisturizing shampoo and do a second wash where everything is now clarified and clean, and my scalp is nice and clean, but I want sometimes a moisturizing shampoo on top. I don't think that this is super drying, but I just like kind of the double shampoo system. But I would highly recommend if you're looking for a clarifying shampoo or you want to occasionally just degunk your hair, this is a good one. My final product for hair, before I get to the honorable mention, is the Aveda Air Control Light Hold Hairspray. So there are lots of hairsprays that promise to give you a little bit of hold, but not flake, and where you can still comb your hair or brush your hair and restyle the next day without it being crunchy, flaky, all that stuff. A lot of hairsprays promise that. Not all of them deliver. This delivers. This is great. It is not a stronghold hairspray, but it's not gonna you're not gonna be able to tease your hair to high heaven and then have this guy, hold it in place. However, if your hair is like mine and when you put curl in it, it falls. Either it's heavy or just doesn't hold curl super well. And you want to be able to hold the curl a little longer without going crazy on the heat styling, but you also want to be able to do that again the next day. This is perfect. Highly recommend. Does not flake, does not crunch, brushes out beautifully the next day or that evening at night before you go to bed, and you can start all again tomorrow. So I recommend Aveda Air Control Light Hold Hairspray. Get a hold of it. The last product is the honorable mention in the hair category, and I'm not going to talk about this in much detail because I want to do a whole separate video on it, but I have to mention it because it was such a pleasant surprise this year. The reviews that I read online were a little bit mixed on this product. It's the Color Wow Extra Strength Dream Coat Ultra Moisturizing Anti-Frizz Treatment. So it's the anti-frizz treatment that you put on your hair before you blow dry it, and it's supposed to give you shine and help you just get a nice, sleek, defrizzed look. Love. Now, I have not had this very long, and I have not used it very many times, but when I tell you this was the easiest sort of silk press process that I've ever tried, right? Like to get my hair from big, frizzy to straight, sleek, smooth, silky. This was the one. And I will do a video on it, but I don't sleep on this one. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's not a super expensive product. Easy to find at Sephora, and I would recommend, but stay tuned. Come back and watch the video where I'm going to show you how I use this for that. All right, let's move on to skincare. I've got 4 skincare products and an honorable mention. The first, I'm sorry, this bottle's gross. I just grabbed it out of my shower, but it's Butter Body Coco Shea Body Wash. And I found this one at Nordstrom, totally randomly. I was shopping through the beauty sale that they had at some point this year, and I was just browsing products. And the reviews on this one were so good. People were like, this is the best body wash ever. And so I bought it because it was on sale. Why not? And they didn't lie. It's moisturizing. It does not break out my skin. Again, I have sensitive skin, so I have to be careful. It has a pleasant smell, but I would not say it's like perfumey or super scented. It just feels smooth, clean, not overly drying, and lovely, luxurious. I spray some on my sponge, lather it up. It's smoothing and moisturizing, but gives a great lather. So I would recommend, as you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but I'm about down to here in the bottle. Haven't had it that long, right? But I'm using, this guy's going fast, and I plan to repurchase. The next skin care product is SkinCeuticals Glycolic Renewal SkinCeuticals Glycolic Renewal Cleanser Gel. So this is a glycolic cleansing gel or face wash. Basically, it's a facial cleanser with glycolic acid, and it is good. Again, I have to be careful. I use a little bit of retinol at night, and I have sensitive skin. So I cannot go overboard on like the exfoliation or any of the other actives. I have to be careful at how much I throw at my skin. So when I found this, and if I wanted, I could use it every day. I don't use it every day, but it's gentle enough to be a daily cleanser. A little bit of exfoliation just keeps things fresh and good to go. Not much else to say. If you need a face cleanser that's exfoliating and you've got delicate skin, I'd give this one a try because this one did the trick for me. Another exfoliating product, but for the body, this is the Necessaire, the body exfoliator. Again, sorry, the bottle, I just grabbed these out of my shower. This one's almost gone, and this is my second or third container of this that I've used, discovered it this year. This is a physical exfoliator, so it's like a gel texture. It's like a gel texture. I'm gonna see if you can, I don't know if it's gonna show you very well here. It's not gonna. It's like a gel texture is like the base, but then there's these beady things in there, like little beads, little round something or others that exfoliate. I'm looking at the ingredients to see if, or I'm looking for the ingredients to see what these things actually are. Well, we can look this up. They sell it at Sephora. But it's fragrance-free. Love that. Doesn't irritate my skin. And the little sort of exfoliating things are small and gentle, right? So I just do a big squeeze in my hand, rub it together, and then, on whatever I'm exfoliating. And I'll do it maybe once a week. I have several other exfoliating products in the shower. And I rotate through them, like whatever I'm in the mood for. Do I want to smell something nice, or do I want it to be fragrance-free and simple? Am I in a hurry? This is a great one to have on hand and good even for sensitive skin. And then the honorable mention in this category is the Tiffany Body Cream. This is such a good body moisturizer. It smells good. It smells good. It smells kind of musky, kind of fresh and clean. I'm just gonna get a little bit of it. I savor it. I don't use it often. I don't use fragranced lotions often at all. I'm always nervous that they're gonna break out my skin. I just have a, look at that. Beautiful. I just have a better time with a fragrance-free product. I can use it more freely. I don't worry about it breaking me out, anything like that. But every now and then you want something that just smells really nice. This is fragrancy, but it's good. It's really good. And if you're going to have in the tub, it's like a weapon. It's heavy glass tub. I'm gonna save this when it's all gone. Wash it out and use it for something. But if you want, like, even if you just want one of these or something like this on your vanity, just to rub on your hands, is just like an extra step of just luxury in the day. I mean, how fancy and luxurious, right? You set this by your bed or on your vanity or wherever you get dressed, your bathroom counter, and you just, even if it's just a little bit, just to have a moment of luxury. And does it feel luxurious? So this is not my day-to-day, it's not my go-to, but it's a new discovery. It's rare that I find a fragranced body cream that I love, and so have to recommend as an honorable mention for 2023. Now, before we move on to fragrance and then completely away from beauty, I have one more honorable mention, and that is a hair care device product, and that is the Dyson Airwrap. I bought one. I do have the hairdryer. I have the original hairdryer, and I like it very much. And I did not have super high hopes that this would be great for like its main intended use, which is to go from wet to dry with blow drying. My hair needs more heat than that. I need flat ironing. But I was curious if it would be good. If the functionality would be good. And here's the main thing so I have used like the wrap, and I can do a review on that for my hair type, which is like naturally curly and frizzy until I straighten it. But what I've used it for most often is for blow drying my hair. And I have found that with the brush attachment, I can get a super fast, really great blowout. Straight, I need one hand. I don't need to hold a brush. I don't need to pull for tension. I just use that attachment and it works beautifully. So I am super happy with it for that purpose. The reason it's an honorable mention is because I can't totally endorse it for the main purpose that it's sold or that it's marketed, but what I use it for, I really like it. And it's a very expensive product. So I don't know if you have the blow dryer, whether you would need it for what I use it for, but I enjoy it very much. And I can also do a review where I show you what my hair does end up looking like when I use, the wrap instead of just the blow drying and brush function. But I am not unhappy with it, and I did discover it just this year, so thought I'd throw it in there. So now let's move on to fragrance, and I have 5, and one of them is an honorable mention. So let me start with the first 2, which don't really have anything in common, but they're in a slightly different category than the other 3, and I'll tell you why in a second. But so the first 2 are Tory Burch Sublime Rose and Mont Blanc. So this is Tory Burch Sublime Rose. I picked this up browsing through Nordstrom. I saw there was like a Tory Burch display, and I went to check it out. I ended up buying 2, and this was one of them. This is a rose, very heavy rose, but light, beautiful, fresh, like clean, not heavy, not too sweet, not really sweet at all, not over the top, but very feminine, somewhat light rose fragrance. If you are already thinking about fragrances for the warmer weather, or if you live in a warmer climate and so that's always on your mind and you haven't checked this out, check it out if you like rose. If you like rose fragrances, because that's going to be necessary for this one. Now, there is no musk note listed here or on Fragrantica, but I get a musky rose when I smell this, and that is one of my absolute favorite fragrance combinations. So that's, if I weren't looking at the notes, that's how I would describe this. And if you've watched any of my perfume videos, you've probably heard me say musk a million times because it's one of my favorite notes. Also love rose. So this was an easy pick for me and highly recommend if you haven't checked it out, and it's very easy to find. The next fragrance is this Mont Blanc, and I think it's Signature Absolute. It is a beautiful flanker of the original Mont Blanc signature, which is that marshmallowy, musky, beautiful, perfect for cold weather, sweet perfume I've even talked about before. I think it is on my perfume tray now, and I wore it just a couple days ago. Love it. One of my favorites. Super accessible, not terribly expensive, easy to find. This one is new, and it's got a pear note, my favorite. It's got ylang ylang, tuberose, tonka bean, cedar. It's got some other things going on in here. It's not the marshmallowy sweet of the original, but it's still beautiful. It's fantastic. It's not as sweet as the other one. So if that one was too like powdery, marshmallowy sweet for you, this is going to be very different. It's going to be very different. The only thing that they have in common, as far as I'm concerned, is that they both smell great. But I would not otherwise put them in the same category. So try it, and you may, in fact, love it as I do. So the next three, including the honorable mention, these are all fragrances that are special to me because I bought them while I was traveling. I don't remember if I've mentioned this already, but I am a souvenir lover. I love sentiment. I love souvenirs. I love to have a memento from places I go. Not even just places I go, but just special occasions. I just like to have something from that. And for the longest time, the only souvenir that I would buy would be Christmas ornaments. They were easy to find and very affordable. So no matter where I was traveling, and I do a lot of traveling, I could get one. And I still do that, and I still love that. And they go on my colorful tree with other ornaments that the kids have made and whatnot over the years. But now I also try to pick up a fragrance. And if I can find a fragrance that is made in the place that I'm visiting, then that's what I'll buy. If I can't get that, or if that just doesn't make sense, then I'll just buy a fragrance that reminds me of the occasion. I'll never forget it, even if it's not made there. I've acquired several fragrances in 2023 as souvenirs of places I've traveled, but these are just three that I'll mention, and I'll tell you why. So the first of my souvenir fragrances to mention today is Misir, however you say that, Musk Eternal. And this is made in Geneva, and I picked it up in Geneva. It is, dare I say it, a rose musk fragrance, but it's also got iris, jasmine, and tonka bean. It is so good. It's fresh. It's a little heavier than this rose musk combo, but it's still light. It's still beautiful. And by light, I don't mean like hard to detect. I just mean there's a lightness to it. There's a lightness, there's a cleanness, there's a freshness. Not citrusy fresh, not at all. Musky fresh, clean fresh. And it's beautiful. You get the musk, you get the rose, but you get the depth of the other notes as well. And I picked this up after trying a bunch at the counter there at the local department store in Geneva and loved it. The next fragrance from my souvenir travel category is Gabrielle from Chanel. This I brought in Seoul, Korea. It was not made there. I looked for Korean perfumes and obligations, things that I had to do while I was there. I didn't really have time to venture out to find the places I needed to go to, so I ended up just stopping at a local famous department store and checking out some of the fragrances I'd been curious about. This was one of them, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. If you are interested in Chanel, but you haven't found one that like does it for you, if you haven't found one that feels like new and modern enough for you, if some of the classic Chanels are just too classic for you, try this one. According to Fragrantica, the notes are in the top, well, there's a ton of notes, but grapefruit, mandarin orange, blackcurrant. Mid notes are orange blossom, jasmine, ylang ylang, tuberose, lily of the valley, pear, one of my favorites, pink pepper, and then the base notes, musk, sandalwood, orris, and cashmere. I do get the pear. I get the pear in this. I get the orange blossom. I get the musk in the dry down, and I get some of the other notes. There's a lot going on in here. The way that it comes together is like a slightly sweet from the pear, but fresh, light, youthful. And I don't mean like young. I don't mean like immature. I just mean not classic, not too mature. Beautiful, slightly sweet fragrance. If you're looking for a Chanel and the other ones haven't really been what you want them to be, they're too much for you or too mature, too classic, you might really enjoy this, and I would highly recommend. It's special to me because it's a souvenir from my travels, and I love the fragrance. And the last fragrance, which is also an honorable mention for me, is the Aqua de Parfum, and it is from their special line. It's number 4. This is like a throwback to their original packaging. I bought this for my husband when I was in Rome. I actually couldn't decide if I wanted it for myself or wanted to give it to my husband, and ultimately I decided to give it to him. It's a little too masculine for me. To me, it smells, the notes don't really say this. The notes have a couple of things I'm not even super familiar with, as well as rose and patchouli and orange blossom, labdanum. I get some of that, but to me, this is like a spicy patchouli to me. I get a little bit of the other stuff going on, but kind of the dry down, what it ends up being like is a little masculine, a little spicy, and a little heavy. It's really pretty. You do need to, I would not recommend this as a blind buy for anyone. It's an honorable mention because it's such a special memory for me. I was in Rome, I was shopping at some Italian perfume stores, and I had such a great time there and such good memories. It was a fantastic trip, and I bought this for my husband. He was very happy to have it when I brought it back and gave it to him, and so with all of that, I love it, but this is not something I would recommend that you go out and buy unless you try it first, or you're looking for a great gift for someone that you know already is into it. So the packaging is beautiful. Again, it's kind of a throwback to their classic packaging. It is more expensive. You can find Aqua de Parfum fragrances for very, very, very reasonable prices, and some of them are really amazing fragrances. I have a couple more that I bought while I was there for myself, but this one just has kind of a special place to me, and I wanted to mention it for 2023. Okay, we've done hair, we've done fragrance, we've done skincare. We're going to move on to household items, totally different category outside of beauty.